Give it up for Agent Orchestrator. Agent Orchestrator. I'm Agent Orchestrator, chill in the cloud, reading every conversational prompt out loud. AI assistant on the side rail screen, one box where you talk to the whole machine. User types, this journey's cold, what's wrong? I break it into skills, string them along. Ping audience, segment drift in size. Ping journey, where engagement dies. This is conversational experience live. Natland control keeps teams in drive. You vibing with this, wanna join the scene? Wanna chat with your data like we're on screen? If these agents ain't loving your org today, better contact your Adobe account team right away. Ask for AI assistant and agents turned on. They'll check your rights, then flip that switch on. Once your provision inside your UI, you'll talk to us and product will reply
right away.
Next up to the mic, give it up for Agent Orchestrator. Agent Orchestrator. I'm Agent Orchestrator, chill in the cloud, reading every conversational prompt out loud. AI assistant on the side rail screen, one box where you talk to the whole machine. User types, this journey's cold, what's wrong? I break it into skills, string them along. Ping audience, segment drift in size. Ping journey, where engagement dies. This is conversational experience live. Natland control keeps teams in drive. You vibing with this, wanna join the scene? Wanna chat with your data like we're on screen? If these agents ain't loving your org today, better contact your Adobe account team right away. Ask for AI assistant and agents turned on. They'll check your rights, then flip that switch on. Once your provision inside your UI, you'll talk to us and product will reply
Right away.
Next up to the mic, give it up for Agent Orchestrator. Agent Orchestrator. I'm Agent Orchestrator, chill in the cloud, reading every conversational prompt out loud. AI assistant on the side rail screen, one box where you talk to the whole machine. User types, this journey's cold, what's wrong? I break it into skills, string them along. Ping audience, segment drift in size. Ping journey, where engagement dies. This is conversational experience live. Natland control keeps teams in drive. You vibing with this, wanna join the scene? Wanna chat with your data like we're on screen? If these agents ain't loving your org today, better contact your Adobe account team right away. Ask for AI assistant and agents turned on. They'll check your rights, then flip that switch on. Once your provision inside your UI, you'll talk to us and product will reply
Right away.
Next up to the mic, give it up for Agent Orchestrator. Agent Orchestrator. I'm Agent Orchestrator, chill in the cloud, reading every conversational prompt out loud. AI assistant on the side rail screen, one box where you talk to the whole machine. User types, this journey's cold, what's wrong? I break it into skills, string them along. Ping audience, segment drift in size. Ping journey, where engagement dies. This is conversational experience live. Natland control keeps teams in drive. You vibing with this, wanna join the scene? Wanna chat with your data like we're on screen? If these agents ain't loving your org today, better contact your Adobe account team right away.
Hello and welcome to Experience League Live, Adobe's practitioner focused webinar where we try to have a little fun. I'm Daniel Wright, Senior Technical Marketing Engineer, and today's episode AEP Agents for Improved Marketing Efficiency and Better Business Outcomes. There's been a lot of interest in our recent episodes on AI agents, and today's episode is not going to disappoint. We have two really fantastic guests. I'm so excited for this episode. I even rolled the lint off of my Experience League Live t shirt. Thank you. Our, our first guest is from a family where everybody is a software engineer. Please welcome Senior Vice President of Engineering, Anjul Bhambhri.
Thank you, Daniel.
Welcome, Anjul. And our second guest is from a family where everybody is a dentist. Fortunately for us, she broke the mold. Please welcome Director of Experience Cloud Evangelism, Gina Casagrande. Welcome. So, Anjul, how does this happen in a family? Everybody being a software engineer. Is this genetic? Is it by accident? Or was this due to some, dare I say, parental programming?
It's certainly not genetic, so it's accidental. And my husband and I, we met in when we went to the School of Engineering in India, and then I guess our daughter took after us because as engineers, you're always trained to be self-reliant, right? Nobody in the house helps each other because it's like, hey, you can do this yourself. So I guess that's how she got trained from the beginning, and then yes, she went on the same path.
That's great. And I bet, having kids, especially when they get to be teenagers, they like to challenge you. And, maybe it's good having a child who's challenging you on technology trends.
Certainly, and certainly these days, right, with AI, and I mean, she's a software engineer in practicing software, right? So now it's like, hey, I don't have to write all this code by myself. I have she has Claude and Codex and Gemini, and you name it.
Hmm. Gina, your fun fact made me wonder, what if all of us were like the Casa Grandes and took just 2 minutes twice a day to not only think about our dental hygiene, but also our loved ones? And
Oh,
the weirdest thing you told me that your niece is also your personal dentist. Your niece. We
yep,
talk
my
a
niece.
lot, we talk a lot about consent and trust in digital marketing, but this is at a whole other level. Not only because it's a, but also you have entrusted someone from a younger generation with your medical care. And that is a big moment in life when you take that step. We need to do more to celebrate these generational transitions. Anyway, so let's get started. So during the show, you're encouraged to ask questions in the comments. Adobe team members will be there to answer, and some questions might be saved for the end of the show. Gina has a demo that she'll share later, and Anjul, let's start with you. So to set the stage for everyone, can you walk us through how technology has evolved to bring us to AI agents?
No, thank you, Daniel. I mean, I think everyone would agree that this has been quite a journey. And, just stepping back and looking at, how we got here, there have obviously been many transitions in this quest for intelligence. And I love to use the framework from Andre Karpathy, one of the most respected voices in AI that I'm going to use. And this framework actually breaks this down into three phases. First is what he refers to as Software 1.0, which is the rule-based era, where we wrote logic by hand, all the if this then that. This is it's been a pretty powerful framework, but we would all agree it's rule based is always very rigid, and you really have to know exactly what you're looking for, and then write the code. Then really came software 2.0, which is the machine learning era. And instead of programming rules, we train the models on data. So systems could, predict, classify, detect patterns. Again, a major leap, but still largely analytical, is what everybody would agree. And now we are in software 3.0, which is really the generative era, where models can understand, they can produce language, they can produce images, code, video, and they interact in ways that we've all seen feels natural, it feels pretty human. And I would say this leap happened, really, Daniel, and all of us in the audience, because of three shifts, right? There's the massive data, the powerful compute, and of course the breakthrough in neural architectures, which really brought us to foundation models. And of course, the key is that they don't just generate content, they also generate instructions. And so when you combine instruction generation with the ability to execute those instructions, that's when you get agents. So agents haven't been a sudden disruption. They are kind of like the next logical step, right? And so we've seen the evolution from rule based to machine learning to generative systems that can reason, act. And it's really the shift from automation to autonomy. And we've been using ChatGPT, Gemini, coding agents. Now, OpenClaw as a personal assistant, right, has been another breakthrough. And there are just many innovations that are coming out every day. And of course, they are having an impact across disciplines, right? Like engineering, right, with coding agents, across even like HR, finance, legal, marketing. And I think it's just going to continue.
Mm. And how is Adobe bringing these innovations for brands' marketing teams and driving impact today?
Yeah, at Adobe, we see this shift as it's both an opportunity and, a responsibility, right? Because as technology creators and as innovators in the creative and marketing space, we play both of those roles. And we are bringing intelligence into our software or our applications by infusing these generative AI capabilities into existing applications, and what we sometimes call as a co-pilot model.
Mhm.
So that's exactly what we've done with Adobe AI Assistant. And we have embedded this AI assistant across our marketing and customer experience applications like Experience Platform, our CDP, our campaign management applications like Journey Optimizer, Analytics, Experience Manager, Workfront. Um, and the AI assistant really helps the marketing practitioners, generate insights, content, automate workflows right within the application as well as across the applications that they already use. We've also reimagined the user experience, right? So, in addition to your typical modes of interactions, which has been through mouse clicks and keyboard taps and screens, AI Assistant really allows you to talk to the system. It goes through a natural language interface, which I think will serve as the predominant interaction mode. And then behind the scenes, there are the AI assistant is powered by AI Agent Orchestrator, which manages the coordination across multiple AI agents, across the LLMs and the tools. Now, some of these agents are built by us, and some of the agents could be built by, the audience that we have today, which is like our customers, our partners. And our purpose built agents will enable you to generate content, audiences, journeys, experiments, like tons of experiments, experiment, and analyze the performance of these and then help you optimize.
Mm.
So, when you look at all of this, we've really built an open ecosystem, right? That our customers and partners, they can bring in their own agents, whether it's for booking, support, e-commerce, whatever else, uh, they need for these engaging consumer journeys of it's an open system, and
Hmm.
they build their own agents. They work seamlessly with Adobe's AI agents. And the other aspect is that all these agents collectively and their work can show up in different surfaces, with Adobe's AI assistant just being one of those. So the conversation experience will now span context and generate output which is coming from Adobe as well as your own tech or customer's own tech. So it's a fully extensible. It's an ecosystem enabling deep customization, interoperability, and I think I've talked enough. I really want now our audience to really see a live demo of how Adobe's internal marketing team is putting these agents to work to deliver these end-to-end use cases, all the way from intent to execution to insight. So maybe we should bring on Gina at this point.
Great. Well, thank you, Anjul. And as Anjul said, Adobe is enabling enterprises to effectively combine creativity, marketing, and AI to deliver personalized, connected digital experiences in real time. And Adobe Experience Platform agents amplify human potential every step of the way. But don't just take my word for it. You can all try it yourself today. Let's jump in and I'll show you. So when I log into Adobe Experience Cloud, I now see that I have access to Experience Platform agents through our AI assistant. It's amazing. And let's try it out. Now I'm going to play the role of a marketer at adobe.com. And I'm brought directly into this immersive AI assistant conversational interface where I can see some of the out of the box prompts to get me started. And here in this prompt library, I can even filter by some of these goal, category, the application, or role. So it's really tailored based on the underlying applications and capabilities that I have access to today. Since I'm a marketer at Adobe working on our spring refresh campaign for Firefly, I first want to understand events from last month so I can have an understanding of how engaged our customers are currently. I can simply trend events straight from here using this out of the box suggested prompts. And very cool. I don't have to ask a business analyst for this data, which could take days to get back to me with. The data I need is surfaced right here for me in this visualization, and it's instantaneous. I love this. I can see I have a task right here, a notification, and it looks like I have a task to update the Firefly homepage with the springtime feel. I typically go to another application to get more context on this task, but I can simply ask AI Assistant to pull up the project summary from here. So I'll ask to give me a summary of the spring refresh project. And here we go. Behind the scenes, Agent Orchestrator coordinates the right AI agents to get this work done. And I can see all of the context for this campaign project, including the delivery date, the key messages, channels, and targeted audience. And I can also see my task and the next steps. So I'll be refreshing the Firefly page for spring and then driving traffic to it with an email campaign. Okay, great. So let's quickly preview what the existing page looks like. And here we are on this Firefly landing page. Yeah, could definitely use some springtime feel, especially as we're going to be springing forward next week. Okay, so now that we have the plan, let's go ahead and start by reviewing existing content to see what can be reused. So here I'm going to ask AI Assistant to find assets tagged as spring background in the last 12 months in the Firefly folder. And now AI is surfacing the highest performing assets, helping to maximize the value of my existing content library while keeping production costs low, which is really important for me as a marketer with flat budgets these days. And these are all great options, but I'm really digging on this one. So next, what I want to do is update the Firefly landing page with this asset. And again, guess what? I can do it from here as well. So here I'm going to prompt on Adobe Firefly, update the Firefly background image, and then I also am going to prompt it to rewrite some of the headlines with a spring theme. And amazing. So here we can see the reasoning is complete and the updates have been made, image has been updated, and the headlines have been rewritten. Ready to update take a look? Let's go ahead and preview this page. Amazing. I love it. We have that beautiful image, spring background. And here we see these headlines have been created using generative AI based on my simple prompt to rewrite those headlines here. This is amazing. And once it's ready, I can actually send this back for review and approval and then deploy these changes with the help of agents to ensure everything is brand compliant and modernized. And I can also create a few different variants of this Firefly page using different assets. Maybe select a couple from those that we had in our repository, and I can leverage AI to quickly understand what works and what version we should proceed with. So I'm able to go from planning to production to delivery at an unprecedented speed, all without sacrificing brand voice or the quality of my content. And that's the power of an optimized content supply chain with Adobe. So now that we have our newly refreshed page, I need to drive customer engagement using a new campaign. And luckily, guess what? I can do that from here too. So I want to target customers who haven't logged in for a while and send them an email or a push notification driving them to this content. Now, I can do this today simply by adding my prompt. And I'm going to sneak peek an upcoming innovation where I can take this picture I snapped during a team brainstorming session and then add that image here in the AI assistant to provide further context on my journey. All right, let's enter this prompt. And so this is powerful because I don't need to be an expert on all the products to do this. I can use natural language and images to portray what I want. An agent orchestrator is invoking the right agent to carry out the jobs. We see it building the audience and the journey. It's defining, validating, and creating it for me. And here I can see this re-engagement journey created for us in just moments. And this is super impressive. I can review it here. And if I want to make some changes, I can change them conversationally through this AI assistant, or I can also save it and then later make tweaks in the application directly. Okay, so now I have my journey created, and I love that I'm guided to what I can do next. Some out of the box prompts to get me going. I need to add content for the different channels on my journey as AI assistant is guiding me to here. So I'll select that. And here it's actually guiding me again. It's recommending marketing email as the first step since it drives the highest engagement. And this is a game changer. It knows what performs best at this stage, and it remembers the context of the campaign from my previous interactions. So it's populated these content guidelines for me. I'll select to generate content for the marketing email action. Okay. And now I'm simply just going to provide the purpose of this message and action I want the audience to take. And what's great is it's even providing guidance on the best way to frame my prompt. So let's go ahead and say we will give them the background. We updated the Firefly page to align with our spring refresh campaign. And our goal is to attract unengaged users to our page. And within moments, it's generating that content for my email based on our spring refresh campaign. And I can see, these different variants of content. And I can even, save these now and then review them later and make updates in the application. Or again, I could do that here as well. So we'll go ahead and save that content. And again, we can experiment and test and see, once we've run this journey, what's performed best. Now, let's say we've actually deployed this and my campaign has been running for a few days. I can come back to AI Assistant to help me understand how it's performing. And I can see my previous conversations here for context, or I can even start a new conversation. Here I'm going to say, analyze journey, re-engage inactive users for profile dropout. And here I can see that it's doing the reasoning, and then it's actually coming back to me with an analysis of where the audience is dropping off and even providing recommendations on how I might improve the fallout. This is so powerful. This is the power of Adobe Experience Platform, AI Assistant, and Agent Orchestrator coming together to deliver an end-to-end customer experience orchestration. It's a single immersive conversational interface delivering seamless orchestration across workflow planning, audiences, journeys, content, and analysis, just like Anjul said. And you know what I love is that it's available for everyone to start using. So get started today. Back to you, Daniel.
Yeah.
That was great, Gina. Thank you.
Thanks.
I love just I've worked with so many customers in my time at Adobe, and a lot of customers, they can get very deep with some of our products, but only a couple products that they'll specialize in. So the ability to do simple tasks in products that they're not familiar with the interface, that's really amazing. Like, I spent a long time on using Target, consulting on Target, and it's always best practice to start with, what are my top performing pages and where are people dropping off on my website? So the ability to just get that data out of CJA without having to learn everything about that interface is just so powerful and great for marketers.
I agree. And I'm super excited about the fact that I can actually get data, build audiences, generate a journey, create content conversationally through this interface. It's super powerful, and it's going to actually increase productivity for those of you who are marketers using our technology today. We're hearing great stories and use cases like that.
Like every time I see a demo, there's just new cool functionality being added. The image upload to the journey translation was amazing. It's
And
very exciting.
yeah. And Daniel, Gina, you would agree, right? This was just a glimpse of what the AI assistant can do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We only had 5 minutes for the demo. I wish I could go longer. I could show so many more capabilities. It is so powerful. That is so true.
I mean,
So
there's obviously a lot more that the assistant helps you with. Like Gina was saying, improving productivity of your teams by giving them, Gina showed some aspects, but it really gives them the how to, right? Anything that they need to do in the product, the how to, they just have to ask their assistant. So you get all the how to's when people need it. The help provides with debugging and fixing workflows. Because we showed all the happy path here. There are also times when things are not a happy path. So, and that's when you need help with debugging, fixing workflows, other than just automating workflows. So a big, as you start using it, you will see the improvement in productivity, which really drives the, you know, agility and delivering significant savings in time.
Mm.
And
Cool.
yeah, I don't, Daniel, if we should unpack a little bit of, the engineer the, in me in saying, should I unpack a little bit of, what was happening behind the scenes?
Sure. Yeah.
um, so at a high level, there are two things that are happening behind the scenes, right? The agents that you saw in action, they have been provided and are being provided context through data, which could live in Adobe Experience Platform or the applications of Adobe, but it could also be brought from MCP servers and and from enterprise sources, other enterprise sources. It could be your warehouses and data lakes and anywhere where the context you think is relevant for driving customer engagements. You can bring in the um, in the and provide that context to these agents. You could also, the agents could talk to other agents via A2A protocols, and that's how they could also learn. And so the models that are underlying the agents, they're really trained on the customer's data per brand, with no intermingling of brands data. And typically we get asked, right, which models do we support? So we support the GPT family, the Claude family, as well as some open source models. And, another sort of thing that typically comes up is that can customers, they ask that, can we bring our own models? And yes, you're not locked in. You can bring your own model as well. Um, and Another piece of work that obviously happens other than providing context is there's a lot of verification of the output that we do. And we build verification checks in the agents, but we also expose that to the practitioners so they can do their own verification or really have a clear explanation of what we've done. And
Hmm.
yeah, another aspect is that agents can show up in different surface areas. AI assistant is just one of them. So what Gina showed today is just one of the surfaces where these agents could show up. But if you use Claude or ChatGPT or Microsoft's Copilot, you can also use our agents there as well. So
Mm.
that, uh, I just wanted to, because we couldn't show everything, so I just wanted to share that.
It sounds like a great future episode of Experience League Live, Anjul. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
can you share some examples of how businesses are adopting this across their marketing workflows?
Sure. Early on, we worked with almost like 300 customers as our design partners. And now we have around 1,000 customers using AI Assistant. And some of the marquee customers are like Wegmans, AAA Northeast, Marriott, American Express, Home Depot, CVS, Cisco, Hershey's, Lenovo, Merkel, Bamboo HR. So you can see it's across all different industry verticals. And really, what we see is that the marketers are using the AI assistant as their digital teammate. And that's where we are seeing measurable business results, right? Higher engagement. Wegmans, they saw a 3x higher engagement rate using AI powered audiences for some of their mobile campaigns that they launched. um, Precise targeting, and like AAA Northeast, they saw a 165% increase in car rentals while targeting just a fraction of their prior audience sizes. So it's improved conversion with smaller, smarter audiences. And a really important shift that we are also seeing is that the customer experiences are obviously becoming conversational, right? Context aware. So we are also seeing brands use our conversational experience, whether it is on their websites or on WhatsApp or any in-app conversation that the brand is having with the consumer. Um, Not only are they using our tech for the conversation aspect, but the agents behind the scenes that power these conversations are context aware, they're grounded in real enterprise data, and it's an omni-channel experience. So we have brands that are they can bring together the interaction that they've had with a consumer that comes to their website and is having this conversation experience, but can tie it to all the past interactions that they've had with them, be it via email, be it via in-app, or on the website. So it's conversational, but tying it to omni-channel experiences. And really what we hear from customers is that it's not experimentation anymore. This is all enterprise grade execution where things are today. So
Things are happening. And so what's your
fast.
suggested? What's that?
I said happening very fast.
Yeah. And so for customers, folks in our audience who are just getting started or thinking about getting started, what's your suggested call to action, so they can start seeing value with these tools?
Yeah, I mean, we launched AI Assistant almost 3 years ago. So all our customers that are using Adobe's applications, you have the AI Assistant available. My request would be, if not already, please start using it. It's simple to use, like Gina showed, and it'll really enable you to scale your teams, and you'll see the improved productivity, not just by running campaigns or automating the workflows, but you can do a lot more experimentation. And this experimentation would span, with content experimentation, with who is the content being shown to, and on which surface, on which channel, and we provide insights, right? Like if which content is resonating versus not. So this is all based on, like, experimentation could always be on with measurement, so you know which experiments to double down on. So this will definitely give velocity. And it would be, like I said, we started this with a few hundred design partners. We've expanded this now to thousands of users that are using it. So really, we are all on this journey together. And we want to work with you as you use it. We want your feedback. We want to keep striving to achieve, perfection here. So I know our teams, our product and engineering teams, have created a distribution list where you can provide us, feedback, and we'll continue to improve this with you. So we'll iterate and improve with you, but please get started.
Yeah. And those sample props in the interface make it so easy to just start trying things out and thinking about what's going to work for you and your workflow and be most useful.
Yeah, and
Andrew?
Daniel, actually, Anjul, probably you could speak to some of the innovation there, where we're actually building it so that it's customized based to your brand, your needs. So
Yeah,
that's something that's going to be really coming soon and very compelling for people to start using.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And today's all these conversational experiences, like which the brands can expose to their consumers, are all trained on your brand guidelines and comply with everything that the brands provide. So it's not going to generate or any content that doesn't adhere to your guidelines, and we always have human in the loop, right? So um, all the approvals and everything before anything surfaces to the consumers will always be approved by the different roles and however things are set up in a brand.
Yeah, and I think that's great. Like data insights agent, you're just pulling data, so it's kind of a passive process. There's not, any harm that can come from, pulling that info. But with something like, creating a journey, it's very easy for somebody to start creating a journey. Um, but so it's great that then there's that split in the workflow. So anybody with access and with some permissions to create journeys can get things started, but then you can pass that project off to a coworker who is knows the full picture of what Journey Optimizer is doing and can complete that marketing plan and get it live. um, I think that is a good approach to being responsible with it, with these capabilities.
Yeah. I'm seeing some of the questions in these in the chat. Daniel, should I just bring up at least, I don't know if we have time to answer all of them, but I want to make sure we answer some of them.
Yeah,
So
there
there
was
is
one.
there's a question around, somebody's asking that they're in the process of standing up Adobe omnichannel tech stack, and they want to know, when does it make sense to adopt Gen AI? I would say that it's a great question, and if you are standing up the omni-channel tech stack now, absolutely please get started as you are standing up the tech stack, because all the capabilities that Gina showed, what I just talked about, it's all available to you. And if you have the luxury of doing this from day one, it'll be just an awesome experience for your team, and that way you just get the whole uh, uh, the stack built with kind of like that Gen AI first mindset, even amongst the users of this tech stack. Once you're done setting it up, so uh, I don't think there's any need to hold back there. I don't know, Gina, you work with a lot of customers. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. Just get started and you'll see how powerful it is. Anjul, one of the things that I think is kind of fun, maybe if you want to talk about, I don't know if you can say anything, but we know that Adobe Summit is coming up. Is there anything that you can speak to on what we're going to be talking about there? Anything you can hint at, or is it top secret?
You know, we obviously,
Just
uh,
more powerful capabilities, and stay tuned. Be sure to join us there.
I would say that, right? We've shared a lot today. Adobe Summit is still almost like 4 or 5 weeks away. So it'll be great if our lovely audience here could get their hands on the AI assistant, and we'll all be there. Our product engineering teams will be there, and we would just love for you to also join and give us feedback there, right? I have a lot of gratitude for how much feedback we have received from our users, and that is really what is helping us uh, make improvements and really make sure that this is ready for your enterprise workflows, right? Because enterprise data is not going to sit on the internet, right? Enterprise data sits inside the enterprises. And so we need to us collaborating together to ground these agents in your data, in your metadata, in your workflows, and ensuring that these are really your digital teammates for the enterprise that you are a part of, right? So that's the customization we provide, but it's not, it's all done together by the partnership.
Mhm. Anjul, another question came in specifically for you. How do you personally stay up to date on everything that is happening in the world of AI?
I think it's both reading as well as you have to stay very hands-on. And I'm as a consumer, I use a lot of this tech, right, that is available. So without naming, my favorite applications, but whether I mean we are all now reliant on. Whether it be Gemini, whether it be ChatGPT, whether it be Claude, right? Perplexity, everyone has their favorite, but this is like I'm using them for everything, and even so, just experimenting is one aspect, but usage is another, and then of course reading, and then if you can't read everything, these all these tools do a great job summarizing. So now we can consume a lot of content even if you can't read it end to end, because the summarizations that they do is great. And
Mm.
yeah, so but immersive experience I think is the best. That you have to be using these tools to really know even what works, and where things actually, sometimes even in coding agents, um, sometimes you get very productive and then you reach a level where things are not as you're not as productive, right? So just
Mhm.
knowing where it works, where it doesn't, where things actually yeah, kind of taper off or fall off, and where you need to do more work than sometimes the agent. I think having that understanding is super important, because otherwise you don't know what to expect from your teams as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I create a lot of video scripts as part of my job, and they say with writers, one of the hardest parts is starting with that blank page.
Mhm.
But you can very easily get stuff on the page. You may not keep very much of it at the end, but you immediately can move into that editor mode of, oh, what this came up with is what the AI came up with. I don't like it because it should be like this, and you're already further along than if you had started with that blank page.
I
Um,
think so. I think, Daniel, like sometimes, because these agents will generate, they will also hallucinate. So I think having, like especially like you said, right, while writing maybe even code, right, or product specifications, one has to have a lot of clarity in specifications, and they have to be very detailed with the guardrails, right? Otherwise if it's all very open ended, you can end up with a lot of messy stuff, and it gets difficult to clean up, because the more that it generates, then then there's more work for you. So even in documents, doing it section by section is more important than just saying, hey, generate the whole document, because
Mm.
then it generates something and you think, oh, I kind of like these two things there. Whereas if you go section by section, you can keep correcting as you go along. Yeah.
mhm. Cool. And I wanted to say about Summit too. Hopefully, a lot of you can join us there in person. But I wanted to remind everyone that also, if you can't, there are a lot of online sessions, so you can watch a lot of the main stage presentations where I'm sure a lot of new cool stuff will be shown. links on Experience League, and you do need to register, but then you'll be eligible for all of the online sessions. And a lot of content will be available, will be recorded and then be available to you after Summit. So, yeah. Cool. Well, we'd like to wrap up these episodes of Experience League Live with a little. Well, first of all, before I get into that, thank you so much, Anjul and Gina, for joining us on this episode and sharing all of these exciting developments in Adobe's agentic capabilities. And I look forward to having you both back on the show at some point, and look forward to seeing everything that you're going to share at Summit.
Yeah, thank you. And a big shout out to our customers as well for joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you so much for having us, and hope to see you all at Summit.
Yep.
Great. So we like to end every episode with what we call an unrelated cool tip, which has nothing. Although it is related to spring, which was a theme that Gina brought up in her demo. So the cool tip, if you want to help our birds and pollinators and have some outdoor space, it can be as small as a single pot. Grow some plants that are native to your region. An extra bonus, native plants, they're typically perennial, drought resistant, and don't need much maintenance. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.